Hey, what's up guys? Koolaid here. Welcome to another episode of Killing Time with Koolaid. Today we are going to be talking about Balance Pass Post 2. But before we get started, I do have one announcement to make. If you're not subscribed to STL Youngblood, you should do so. He does a lot of Planetside 2 videos. But the reason I'm bringing this up today is because me and him are going to be doing a dual commentary series from now on. It's probably only going to be on about once every couple weeks. But it's a discussion series where we talk about Planetside 2 related features and just topics, fresh topics for Planetside 2. We'll probably have some feedback from the community that we'll discuss as well. And we are going to have guest commentators come on. We're going to try to get other Planetside 2 YouTubers to come and join us for each episode. So stay tuned for that. It is going to be on STL Youngblood's channel. It's not going to be uploaded on my channel. We discussed it, and he's going to be putting in more of the work, so it's only fair for him to upload the videos. So stay tuned for that. I will leave you a link to STL Youngblood's channel in the description, and I will remind you guys and talk more about it once the time gets closer where we're actually going to start uploading the series. So anyways, Balance Pass Post 2. This is the Nanoweave Balance Pass. Most of you have probably seen this, but I am going to read it word for word and just talk about exactly what this means as I go along and kind of give my opinions on it. So starting off, Nanoweave Armor. This is the Nanoweave Balance Pass. Nanoweave Armor, for those not aware how Nanoweave functions currently in its current state, when at max rank, Nanoweave gives a flat 25% increase to the player's total health pool. This health increase causes Nanoweave to protect against the majority of damage sources. This includes damage types that have their own dedicated counters, like explosions. So you have an ability, a suit ability called Flak Armor that protects you against explosions. Well, Nanoweave protects against explosions and other sources, and that's kind of the thing that they're getting at. It protects you against too many things, basically. So that's what they are going to be changing. So how Nanoweave will function after the changes. Nanoweave will no longer increase the player's health pool. Instead, it will apply a percentage damage resistance against infantry small arms fire and rapid fire vehicle secondary weapons only. And there's not a list here going over the exacts for those rapid fire vehicle secondary weapons, but something like the Cobalt, something like I'm guessing the anti-air weapons if you fire them against infantry. Maybe not the flak. I don't know. There's not an exact list here. We'll have to wait more when it comes out, but I think you guys understand what that means. Next, damage sources not included in the above, like explosions, will no longer be modified by Nanoweave Armor. Nanoweave Armor will no longer resist headshots against any weapons. Against the applicable weapon types, max rank Nanoweave will remain the same strength as it is now, excluding headshots. So if you have Nanoweave rank 5 now and you repurchase it again once the patch or once the actual Nanoweave gets changed, it will do the exact same resistance against small arms fire and rapid fire vehicle secondaries that it does right now. It's just not going to cover any explosive damage, any other damage outside of those two sources. That's one of the major changes. It also says we will be giving a cert refund. Once this change goes live, you can choose to repurchase Nanoweave Armor or spend the points elsewhere. So if you don't like Nanoweave after this, go ahead and buy whatever you want. Now, here it goes a little more in detail about bolt action rifles. This is the other big change aside from the different damage sources. In a typical FPS game, the strength of a one-shot headshot is usually offset by either or both of the below. Small scale levels with limited sniper lanes and some type of visual mechanic that calls out snipers' location. Planetside 2 isn't a typical FPS game, and neither of the above is a valid limiter given the size of our world and scale of our battles. The massive size of our continents means snipers can be a threat from all directions, and a visual callout on each individual sniper isn't possible considering the amount of players we render at one time. On the other side, giving snipers a 360-degree one-shot kill with unlimited range against all other players is not something we want to introduce into the game. Dying to a sniper that you had never had a chance to see is a poor gameplay experience for everyone on the receiving end. So with the above in mind, we are capping all one-shot headshots on a full health target at 150 meters. Nanoweave will no longer apply to headshots, so the range limit will apply to all targets no matter what the player has equipped. This will give bolt actions a more consistent feel when fighting within their effective range. The 150-meter range is a starting point. It may be adjusted during tuning, and we'll be monitoring the range once it goes live to see if it needs to be adjusted to be shorter or longer. So essentially what that means is sniping is you're going to want to snipe within 150 meters. I would say between 125 and 150 is going to kind of be the bread and butter sniping distance now. For somebody like me, that's going to benefit me. I did all my sniping within 150 meters anyway, and this is just going to assure that within that range I do get one-hit kill headshots. Now, for all you other guys that like to do long distance sniping, this is definitely not the answer that you guys were looking for. And I'll be honest, even though I do most of my sniping within 150 meters, I still feel like a headshot with a bolt action should kill at any range. And they give a couple reasons about why this isn't a typical first-person shooter and why they don't want to include that into this game. And I don't necessarily agree with that. Look at a game like Battlefield, or the Battlefield series. The Battlefield series is one of the most successful first-person shooters out there, whether you like it or not. Battlefield maps are huge. Sure, they're not the size of a continent on Planetside, but in any given battle, a Battlefield map can be just as big as a battle or bigger, not player-wise, but area-wise, as a map in Planetside 2. And Battlefield has been doing one-hit kill headshots with sniper rifles forever. You can pull off, this is something that never really happens, but you can pull off something like 3,000-meter headshots in the Battlefield series. That's not typical, obviously, but every game of Battlefield, you will have long-range snipers sitting out 5, 6, 700, 1,000 meters, sniping all game, and it doesn't ruin the game whatsoever. So I don't really agree with just eliminating an entire player base because of this. Now, there is a difference. I did use Battlefield as a reference. The main difference between Battlefield sniping, Planetside 2 sniping, is Planetside 2 you have an infinite more amount of infantry to sit there and look at. If you're attacking a base, you're sniping, you can just sit there and stare at a base and have a ton of targets to kill. But that doesn't necessarily change my opinion on this. I don't think you should eliminate an entire player base that likes to do long-range sniping. I think there's other ways to fix this. I mean, you could even add in, add in a gun, a bolt action that shoots one round and you have to reload it. Something like that. I haven't thought about it too much, but there's other ways around this than just making long-range sniping 100% useless. So the last little bit of information, explosions post nanoweave change. We've had to increase the max damage of some explosions in our game so that they would still be effective against nanoweave equipped players. For example, underbarrel grenade launcher explosions are stronger than we would like. Changing nanoweave over to being a projectile resistance removes the need for the increased explosive damage. We will be doing a pass of all explosive damage and reducing some so that they work better in the game. So basically, they're saying that currently there are a few weapons in the game that are a few explosive weapons in the game that are only doing as much damage as they are to counteract nanoweave armor. So by changing nanoweave, that's going to allow them to tweak explosions a little bit too and balance them out a little bit as well. So that's a good thing. The first part of this, the whole nanoweave doing only resistance against small arms fire and rapid fire vehicle secondaries, I can get on board with that. I really don't use nanoweave all that much anyway. I know they probably have a database that shows who uses what or whatever, and I'm guessing, actually I know nanoweave is an overwhelming favorite, and it makes sense. It's just the easiest choice to go to, and it's probably the best option for most players in most classes, most loadouts. So I can get on board with them reducing this a little bit. Hopefully this will make people rethink this, and hopefully if it makes you look at this slot and say, man, I don't know what to choose, nanoweave, shield capacitor, ammo, then that's good. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be like. You shouldn't be able to look at one and say this is the obvious option. So I do like that. I don't agree with the bolt action thing. Even though it is going to benefit me, I still think there needs to be a way for somebody to long range snipe in this game. Being that this is such a huge game, huge maps, people are going to want to take advantage of that by long range sniping, and just completely eliminating that I don't think is the right solution. I mean, honestly, you could just throw in a bolt action that you have to reload at every shot, has slower projectile velocity because you could say it fires some ridiculously large bullet, but as long as it would still kill with one headshot, you could still somewhat satisfy long range snipers. That's just my take. Not doing any mailbag questions today. Unfortunately, after last week's episode, I accidentally deleted all the old mail. There was about 10 pieces of old mail left in there. So if I have not answered your question and you've had it sent to me for a while, that is why. Anything after last week's episode that you guys sent to me, I still have, but there's not really enough questions yet to really do much with. So anyways, sorry for that, guys. If you want your question answered and I haven't answered it yet, you're probably gonna have to resend it. But that's all I have for today. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.